My name is Debbie, and I'm speaking to you straight from the Quick Artist Search Studios at Sassy Radio. I'm a producer, and you know what time it is? It is time for the lion to tell a story. Tune in and don't go anywhere.
Okay, there's another part of Mama Thea that we're gonna touch on. There's the carnival section.
Yes.
Yes. You wind up your bum. See what's going on with
Mama Thea is guilty of of being a bacchanalist now. So yes, I do. And what's so interesting though, but it's late because again, coming from like my father was a musician, there wasn't a whole lot of calypso or nothing in my household. It was pretty reggae straight. I think the closest thing to calypso was Billy Ocean, but he was so popular and he was from Trinidad. But no, I found a love for soca, and it because I work so hard all the time, and it's a release. Now I know there are more modern aspects of like carnival that are that don't really align with Rasta, but the part that I am involved in is very much so not one necessarily. It's very cultural in paradigm. So the name of my
you're not drinking Hennessy and winding up yourself.
No, there is definitely Hennessy on the road. I cannot lie, because a part of our package that we sell to people who are coming.
And talk about the business, because you turned it. You didn't just go to carnival as a thing because your brain how it works. You turned it into. I turn
it into a business. You turn your passion into a business, and so I and it was actually even as I grow as an entrepreneur. You want to have multiple sources of income, and Asli Pure has been a solo venture. Like I've had many people help me with it, but they were all compensated. There was no one, outside of Chad.
Big up Baba Chad.
Yes, big up Baba Chad. he has not been really compensated for with Asli Pure. But everybody that you ever seen within Asli Pure outside of myself and Baba Chad has been paid to work for Asli Pure. And so Fuse Carnival gave me an opportunity to work with a group of people, which I love. I don't think I'll ever start another business unless it was a really simple.
Who are the principal partners in Fuse?
So it's myself, Maisha, Hyman, who is the second half of Diallo Sumbri, and
who's doing big things in Ghana right now.
Kosua Akoto, whose birthday is today, though I know you're not hearing her. Happy birthday, Kos. And she's also a powerhouse. She created a fitness series called Asa. And she's also a professional dancer, has been on several.
Choreographed Black Panther 2.
She
was in that.
Yes,
film.
she was. Yes.
She's major.
She was a part of Janet Jackson her return a few years ago, on.
I want to interview her on this platform, Mama Thea.
Yeah. I'm sure Coastal would, I'm sure there's a contract, and she's serious now, because she got her sibling is a lawyer, so Tewa. You know her sister? You should interview Tewa.
Yeah, definitely.
You should interview
I probably know her
Tewa.
by face, but I
because she's pretty much she's kind of like the director, fiscal director of Nation House. So she's taken on that family legacy. So there's you have a lot of people at your fingertips.
And this is all part of the Pan-African community in the DMV. So we run in the same circles.
Yes.
So we've seen a lot of these people over the years.
And then our fourth business partner is her name is Destiny Event. And she is her children actually. Her son used to go to Wilson Baker Academy. I don't think he's there. I don't know. Maybe he's still there. I'm not sure. So those are the four, and all of them are powerhouses, and all have their individual. Destiny is actually a part of the new. I don't know if you all heard the Legend Burger. It's a new vegan burger that has been taking waves in the DMV. So she's a part of that team. So it's like it's fun and crazy at the same time, because each individual, we're all doing these big things, but we come together to do Fuse Carnival, and it really is connecting the diaspora. So we say we're united by culture and divided by water. Well, it's actually divided by water, united by culture is our theme.
Okay.
Because we are the only African American carnival company or business in Antigua. We've chose Antigua because we felt like, well, and Antigua is nice. My godmother's from Antigua. There's several reasons why we started in Antigua, and we just kind of fell in love with Antigua. Antigua is actually ethnically Ghanaian. Like most of the descendants who are in Antigua are from Ghana, to the point where they still have the names, as well as even some of, like, I saw that Ankobian, the two swords, like they'll wear these pendants on, and so it's pretty interesting that that culture still stays in these regions, even though we were stripped of a lot of our cultural identity. And so so we always choose, our costumes are always based on an ethnic group within Africa. We've done, the first year was, let's see, well, let me go from forward backward. Yeah, let me go forward because I can't go back that far because of my brain. So this year is called Ankara Legends, which we're taking all the different Ankaras, and they have, Ankara is basically African cloth, but a lot of the things that we don't know is that the cloths actually have a name. I don't know what this cloth is called, but this is an older print. But we have one that's called Sikawo Antaban, which is one with the birds. And then we have another one. I don't want to go into all of the but we put a lot of context, and we give like historical context, like why did we choose these particular themes.
So it's not just about bikini top.
No. And we also and we, because it's carnival, you have a client base that wants that. We have, and we also are considerate of people with different sizes, because I'm not a small girl at all. So we do have costumes that are for full figures, or even if people want to wear like lapas, so they can still, because it's really about really just freeing. It's a free up for me. So the end of the summer, it's in August, the end of the summer, it's like I've worked really hard and I just want to let loose, because like I don't really have time to party in home. I don't have time. Even last night I was like, I kind of feel like I want to go out. But by the time nightfall, I'm like, my bed is cozy, it's cold outside, I'm not going anywhere. So a carnival, going to Antigua for carnival has been a part of, like, kind of like the pat on my back. I made it through this year. Like, let me let go of the stress that got me to this part of the year, and let's start anew. Because I guess my fiscal year kind of starts at the end of Antigua Carnival. The year before that, we did Vibranium, which was an homage to the Black Panther movie series, and we did all of our costumes were kind of
metallic.
Well, they were in theme with the different characters. So the section that I chose was the red, black, and green one, which was it was named for what's Killmonger. It was for the, which was for the Pan-African, because again, it was kind of like showing this is what happens, when you come over to the diaspora and you're torn apart by the system and you're trying to build ourselves back up. And so it's really just showing our commonalities rather than our differences, because I think that is one of the worst things that I think colonialism and slavery has done, is that they've made us think that we're different, and we're not. Even to the types of food, being from the Caribbean, we eat pretty much the same way as people in Africa eat. And even if you look at what was available to Africans here in America, it's still pretty much the same,
Definitely.
So we're looking, and then even the rhythms, and right now there's a debate about like soca versus like Afrobeats, and they're really one and the same. Because if you think about who's the most iconic, all of the most iconic musicians, Miriam Makeba, Hugh Masekela, Fela, and those are just the more popularized ones, not the smaller musicians. And shouts out to all of those wonderful musicians that I know. I'm sorry, I'm not able to say their names, but though they were all influenced by the 60s and the Black Power movement. And Fela did not become Fela until he came to LA and learned about what the black struggle. And also even soca originally Calypso and soca and it still is. It's political commentary to what's happening in the country, and it's like making kicks and jokes or saying it without being abrasive to the government. Okay, we don't like this, or we don't want that. That's kind of like the core of it. And then we borrow music from each other, so we have to stop looking at ourselves as different.
It's interesting because what you've done, coming from Trinidad, you've taken your culture, you've merged it with the Pan-African, because that group of leadership from fuses the Pan-African leadership, and you've kind of emphasized the cultural components. And Mama Thea, trods within the Nyabingi. That's where I met Mama Thea, and that's how Nyabingi is very conservative. Do you feel any tension between the Nyabingi trad and the carnival, where they have the Hennessy, they are winding up the Bamsi? That's
right.
part of the how do you balance
not necessarily, because at the end of the day, if you look at the preamble for, let's go back to EWF, what was said in the charter for EWF is that it was created for Black people of the world. That's right. True. So it's not, and you cannot expect all of us to have the same everything, and so I don't see it as a conflict for me, because I still hold my principles in that space. And even culturally, if you look at Africa, like, again, the shame of the Black body or the shame of nudity, we don't see, even now, like, you'll see, like, children will shake and dance and do things in America that would be considered provocative, but that's not a part of our paradigm. That is a European Roman church, shame, sin-driven type of paradigm. And so we have to come out of that, because that's not us.
And I think the time for the conversation is now. I think the time to have these conversations is now, and this is why I love having this platform of Lion Talk, where we can, really look at, some of these traditional ways of looking at things. And because as we return to Africa, there are a lot of customs that we have to balance with, how Rastafari has emerged in the West, and we have to reconcile these things as we return home. And as you say, every African tradition, no matter what culture, has whining. There is no African culture. Well,
because our purpose is to procreate. So it's like
to figure out
the male is attracted to the female, like that natural order, right?
It's a natural order. I have a song about it that I will release.
It's a natural order. So I think no, I haven't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm sheltering myself. I don't hide, because I mean, if you go on Facebook, you'll see pictures of Mama Thea in her costume.
No, I see.
So I haven't, I haven't found. I mean, it may come up in a congregation and be like, "Aren't you that Rasta sister that shakes?"
But a lot of them are doing things that they don't want people to uncover. Your thing is in the open. A lot of what people are doing is hidden.
Okay.
And we don't want to know what that is. So, you know what I mean? I think the conversation has to be had, because nothing is static. You know what I mean? Is it being done in uprightness? If Mama Thea's out there drunken and wanna deal with you, then I'm not gonna be a carnival person. But because I grew up at Caravana, let me just let the people know I grew up at Caravana in Toronto, so I'm very familiar with culture. My brother just actually went to Trinidad Carnival.
Oh man,
this year.
I'm so jealous.
For the first time. I haven't seen any pictures, so I don't know what he was doing. But definitely, these are things that, as Black people, as we come together, this great gathering, we have to reconcile all of them, because Zion to I is not just one thing.
Right.
Zion is all of the great parts of all of the parts of the, that diversity of culture is what makes it so sweet.
Absolutely. And I think, honestly, the freedom that we, require in Rastafari to hail His Majesty and hail Empress Menen, like, those are our freedoms, you know? So this is how we resonate with who the God and Creator is. So, I'm not I'm not here to convince anybody of what it is. It's what resonates with me and what moves me, you know. And so I don't feel like it's a conflict. And honestly, I've even through my Fuse Carnival have tapped into the Rastafari community in Antigua, you know, and so we a part of our group, we do a service project where we will take those who are interested, who are from our federal pool, that we'll take them to King Asaji Falls, Papa Asaji Falls campgrounds in Big Creek, Antigua, and get them to see what a Rastafari is or what camp is, because a lot of ones don't know Rastafari. They know it from a very tunnel vision, you know, either through with the window of Bob Marley and the offshoots of like the music industry, or through stereotypical, like, you know, pseudo. I mean, now that everyone has locks, you really can't differentiate between who is Rasta, who believes in His Majesty and Empress Menen, and who doesn't. So it's a good way, because again, Nyabingi, Rastafari all came through the same type of lens, like community building, learning about Africa, wanting our birthright to be able to return to Africa. So that again, as much as I'm a successful engineer, master's degree, you know, my children, like I've done well for myself. I didn't ask to be here. You know what I mean? My forefathers didn't ask to be here, and I want to have the opportunity to go home and to strive and to be accepted and to do all of those things. So, you know, this is a way. And then to me too, like, it's not realistic for all of us to like take this big exodus back to Africa. So now my paradigm is like, well, we need to build our nations, like, you know, so the Caribbean nations, the American nations, the African nations, you know, and we need to, you know, come together, which is a powerful thing, because
well, great is the Almighty, and greatly to be praised in the city of Haile Selassie I, the mountain of His holiness.
Yeah, from Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, you know, the whole entire continent.
Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, from Accra to Addis Ababa.
Yes, it's a beautiful continent, better control, Mama Africa.
Very beautiful.
From Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, I smile for Mama.
I hear you call Mama Africa. Been so long since I seen Mama. Father of Africa set the law. The lion come and dismantle Babylon flaw. We gonna use solar energy, use sanitation to build the ecology. We utilizing green technology. We hailing Haile Selassie first without apology. And then we build the youth them economy. We dismantle Babylon monopoly. We teach the youths them how to live properly. Tell them, make sure them got the title for them property.
Yes, it's a beautiful continent, better control, Mama Africa. From Cape to Cairo, from Timbuktu to the Nile, I smile for Mama Africa.
I love you, Mama. Your heart never harden. I wanna turn all your slums into garden. I wanna stop all of your youths from starving. I wanna stop all of your tribes from warring. So much to say, so many feelings. We both been hurt, we both need healing. Since the League of Nations, you've been appealing. You stand up against them backdoor dealing. I hear you call Mama Africa. Been so long since I seen Mama. Father of Africa set the law. The lion come and dismantle Babylon flaw. Then I hear you call Mama Africa. Been so long in America. Father of Africa set the law. The lion come and dismantle Babylon flaw.
So be still, all enemies of Jah. Know that He's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the Lion Conqueror. And it was said of Ethiopia, the highest himself shall establish her. His Majesty was born there.
And I know that that I love you so. There's no place that I'd rather go. Tired of walking through slush and snow. Repatriation, that's a must I know.
Yes, into this beautiful continent.